Good morning, everybody. Christine Barconi here in the NBC4i Streaming Center, joined by Secretary of State Frank LaRose, who is on the road right now in Akron doing some business, but he is graciously accepted to join us right now because we are making sure that everybody knows that the deadline to register to vote for the November election is quickly approaching. Secretary of State, tell us more about that.
You're right. And this is that reminder. If you're not registered to vote, or if you don't know whether you're registered to vote, or maybe you've moved since the last election, this is the chance to go to voteohio.gov. It takes just a few minutes to get registered to vote. And what the Ohio Constitution says is that you've got to be registered to vote 30 days before the election. That means this coming Monday is the deadline. Now, we had voter registration day nationwide on Tuesday this week, and we saw great traffic on our website. Our team told us over 6,000 people got registered to vote that day, so we're working to spread the word any chance we can. Think of a young person in your life as well, maybe one of your own children or grandchildren that just turned 18. Remind them to go to voteohio.gov, get registered to vote. Of course, if you want to use the paper format, you can get that voter registration form at a library, certainly at your county board of elections, at any BMV office. So there's a lot of great ways to do it, but whatever you do, don't miss out on the opportunity, because as you know, election day is really just around the corner, and early voting begins next Tuesday. And these elections that occur in those odd numbered years, sometimes people don't think about, but decisions are going to be made that will really impact your community and quality of life in these local elections that occur. And in two parts of Ohio, including right there in Columbus, they're voting for members of Congress in a congressional special general election that's occurring this November as well.
Yeah, a huge deal for big parts of our state, Cleveland and Columbus areas, voting for those congressional members. I was able to help my mom actually on her cell phone. It was super easy, change her address. Can you just talk about what people need and just kind of how easy it is to do it right in the palm of your hand?
Yeah, Christine, this is something I'm really proud of, because I worked on the bill in the legislature that created online voter registration. And of course, with that is also the chance to update your address online as well. You want to have your state ID or driver's license handy when you do it. You can do it on a smartphone. You can do it on a laptop. Leave maybe 2 or 3 minutes to get it done. And that's really all it'll take. Go to voteohio.gov. We even have a video there that explains how to do it. If you want to watch that video, it'll sort of walk you through the process, but it is easy to get registered to vote and to update your voter registration information. And again, if you haven't checked it in a while, you can go to voteohio.gov and just check to make sure that your voter registration information is all up to date. So this is that reminder to get it done.
So, of course, we have the congressional members on the ballot for the Cleveland and Columbus areas. But what are some other things? I know it's an odd number year, and there's not a ton to vote on. But what are some of the other important measures that people will be seeing on their ballots this year?
So I always say that, we all pay attention every 4 years to the presidential election, and that creates a lot of excitement. But it matters, of course, who lives in the White House. But what probably matters more in your daily life is who works at the courthouse and who works at the schoolhouse. And those are those local elections. There are school board elections right now, city council elections. There are local issues. I was just looking at it. Over 1,500 local questions and issues. These are ballot issues, tax levy questions, and that kind of thing. Even a local liquor option, for example, to determine if your community will allow a new establishment to have a liquor license. Those are the kind of things that are up. Of course, there's 1,300 townships, over 900 villages and cities. They all have their township trustee, mayor races, city council and village council races. All of those are the kind of things that are happening. And for Ohio's nearly 8 million registered voters, 7,900,000 some thousand registered voters in the state, nearly 8 million registered voters, this is a chance to really have a big impact on your community. So don't use the word off year. There's no such thing as an off year. I know you didn't, but there's no such thing as an off year election. This is important for people to participate.
We say odd year, not off year.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're talking about the younger kids too. I know you were at some high schools getting kids registered to vote. How easy is that? And how can, if we've got some teachers or some parents watching for first time voters, kids who will be 18 by the time November rolls around, how easy is it for them to do it? Is it just like changing your address? Can you do it on your cell phone?
You can do it online. The first time you get registered to vote is easy. And I was out at Dublin Kaufman High School talking to a really great group of young Ohioans about two opportunities. One is to be a registered voter, but second is to also sign up to be a poll worker. And our boards of elections are still looking for people to do that really important patriotic duty of being a poll worker. Both of those can happen at voteohio.gov. You sign up to be a poll worker, the Board of Elections will call you and schedule you for training and then assign you to a polling location. You'll take an oath and you will be in charge of making sure your neighbors can have a free and fair election. And of course, if you want to get registered to vote, voteohio.gov is the place to do it. For high school students, as long as you're going to be 18 by election day, even if you turn 18 on election day, as long as you're going to be 18 by election day, you can get registered to vote. And if you're not going to be 18 by election day, 17-year-olds can be poll workers in Ohio. So think about it. Remind a young person, because all of us had somebody that encouraged us to get registered to vote. Many of us don't remember because that was probably a long time ago for some of us, but take the time to remind a young person in your life to get registered to vote.
Absolutely. All right. So we mentioned free and fair elections. We always want to touch on this when we talk to you. How does Ohio ensure that our elections are free and fair?
Absolutely. You know, in Ohio, we make it easy to vote and hard to cheat. That's the easiest way to explain it. We've kind of emerged as the national model, the gold standard for other states to follow. Some of the things that we do really starts with how we're organized. We have bipartisan elections administration. That means that every county board of elections is half Republicans and half Democrats. The staff are half Republicans and half Democrats. They work well together to run fair elections for the people of the community. But also it gets down to the way that we make sure that our voting machines are secure. Voting machines are never connected to the internet. Let me reiterate that. Voting machines are never connected to the internet. They're not capable of an internet connection, and it's against the law to connect a voting machine. We inspect them before each election, and that's happening as we speak at boards of elections around Ohio, where there's a Republican election expert standing there with a clipboard and a Democratic election expert standing there with a clipboard, and they go through the tests of every voting machine. We have a paper trail for every vote ever cast. And so when you cast your ballot, of course, there's electronic tabulation because we want to know those results on election night, but there's also a hard copy piece of paper. And weeks after the election, we go back just a few weeks after the election and we do a post-election audit. A lot of talk about audits right now. In other states, they don't do it as well as Ohio does, but we always audit elections. Last year, for example, when we audited the November election in all 88 counties, we had a 99.98% statewide accuracy rate. So the bottom line is this: whether you choose early voting in person at the Board of Elections or voting from the comfort of home as an absentee voter by mail, or you want to go in on election day on November 2nd and cast your ballot, it is a secure and convenient process in the Buckeye State. And that's something we can all be proud of.
That's awesome. All right, Secretary LaRose, anything else you want to touch on before we end this today?
Well, again, early voting starts on Tuesday of next week, and so it'll be here before we know it. The voter registration deadline is Monday. Now is also a time if you want to vote from the convenience of home as an absentee voter. You can go to voteohio.gov and get information about how to request your absentee ballot. Now's the time to get that request in. The Board of Elections will mail you a ballot, and you'll be able to vote from your kitchen table, just like Lauren and I do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. All of the information that Secretary LaRose just mentioned is on our website, NBC4i.com. If you're watching on Facebook, it's in the link in the description of this video. And if you are watching on our website, just scroll down. It's right there, and we have a link for you to register to vote or check and make sure that you are up to date with all of your addresses and everything. We'll see you later. Bye.